I saw something last night that was so unbelievably prophetic that I have to share it with you. It is a turning point that I have shared with you that is starting to happen right now, where we don't have much time to make decisions as to which place we're going to choose, the new earth, or if we're going to go to you know what in a handbasket, with what's been happening with humanity up to this point. What I'm about to share with you hopefully will bring it home for you, and I'm going to have a very big question for you during this video, and you get to make a decision. Now, you don't have to participate in this, but hopefully it'll be an epiphany for you, or at the very least get you to really think about where we are, what's happening, and some other factors in there that may shock you. You ready for this? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. I saw a show from the 50s last night that was so prophetic, I had to share it with you, because many of the shows of this particular show that I was watching are so. In fact, it deals with the fifth dimension. I'm going to read what's said in front of this show, and you will probably guess what it is, especially if you're a little bit older. If not, you probably still know what I'm talking about. I want you to listen to these words, and I'm going to tell you about this prophetic storyline that blew me away, that is absolutely true today and is predicting our future right now. There is a dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination and is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. You want to hear this one? In the beginning, there is a very happy middle America town of people in the 50s, the families, the community. And it is evening. A bright light flashes through, explodes, and everything in the town goes out. In fact, they can't even start their cars. The town gathers in the middle of the street, and they send somebody to go find out if the next town power is on. They start to speculate what it is. Was it a comet? And then a young boy steps forward and says, it was an alien spacecraft, and he's actually read about this. That these aliens come in and they actually plant what appear to be human beings who live in these towns for a period of time until the aliens land, and then all chaos ensues. At this point, the lights are just out, the power is gone. In fact, they can't even make phone calls. So they begin to have this conversation amongst themselves, and the imagination starts to go. And then they decide that maybe there's some truth to this. The young man has convinced them that maybe there is someone amongst them that could be an alien monster waiting to prey on them. And so they start to point fingers. One of the gentlemen who's standing there talking, his car starts in his driveway on its own, and then it shuts off. They speculate that he's the one. Why did his car start? And so they all gang up on him, and he barricades himself on his front porch with his wife, petrified. Guns start to be pulled out, and the fear starts. Then fingers are pointed at another person, and then that person's house lights go on and off and on and off. It's him. Pretty soon, somebody gets shot. And then more shooting ensues, and fights, and screaming and yelling and chaos. These neighbors have now turned on one another in fear and speculation, and they're destroying themselves. The next scene, we see two human-looking aliens on a spacecraft that did land. They have a conversation as they watch this town in chaos. And one of them says, "So, is this happening in every town? That's all it takes?" And the other alien says, "Yes, it's the same in every town. We don't have to do anything. They turn on themselves. They're going to destroy themselves. We just have to stand back and wait." This is what we're doing. Prophetic, isn't it? Aliens don't have to come down and do anything. We're destroying ourselves. All they have to do is wait. Now, hopefully we won't do it in a destructive way that damages our beautiful planet. What side are you taking? We're getting ready to go into some of these situations. And if you continue to act as humanity has in the past, as I saw in that storyline, you will be a part of the destruction of the old earth, of how humanity has acted for hundreds of years, turning on one another and destroying each other and pointing fingers because it could be you. All speculation, storylines in our head, creating things that don't exist. And all anybody who's peaceful has to do is stand back and allow it to destroy itself, not to disrupt it or step in, because that's not possible. When you're in the new earth, you have to let it go. Are you going to be of the frequency, the higher frequency, that turns against no one, that actually sees the other person as another form of you, and that you contribute in changing that peace on earth by raising your own frequency, not trying to save somebody else? That's the ego believing that you're right and they should be what you think they should be. That also is separation. Totally letting go is going to save your world, and others will live in another one and destroy themselves. Protests that are violent make no sense and accomplish nothing. We've had those for centuries. It has never accomplished anything in a positive way. There are always negative repercussions from that, and problems were never truly solved. I'm not talking about standing by and allowing things to happen. I'm talking about uniting in peace, turning against no one, recognizing that all of us are individual expressions, and we're allowed that. And that that person doesn't have to believe and to think the way that you do. But living in peace is the only answer to the new earth. It's the only one. And peace comes from compassion and love, unconditional. Because there are no conditions when you leave this body. There are no conditions. Because there are no differences anymore on the other side. There's no white nor black, no poor or rich. In fact, I'm going to ask you right now if you categorize certain people as negative just because they are well-educated or wealthy, or that people that don't have money or who struggle, you might have an opinion about them that's not so nice. This is all part of our test. This is all intentional. And that role that you're playing, everything that you are receiving right now, if you want to go on the new earth, is going to continually test you to see if you qualify. And that starts with your thoughts. Is it a higher frequency thought? Is it a higher frequency action? You see, there are many other forces that are here on this planet, and they look just like us. We're not alone in this universe. That's insane. But this universe is transforming. In fact, our galaxies are 50% dimmer than they were 2 billion years ago. What does that mean? We're not regenerating ourselves, not in this form. Another story is going to start Somewhere it probably already has, because there are unlimited probabilities. What is the fifth dimension? It's unknown, but it is controlled by your thoughts and your actions. And whatever frequency you choose, you will participate in. It can be no other way. You will see and experience some things, but how you react to it is the true test and reason we're here. We are here to elevate the frequency of this planet, not by forcing ourselves and our opinions on other people's, but one frequency, one light being at a time. Are you ready to go there? We don't need to worry about anything hitting the planet. Another planet hitting us, a comet. That's the least of our concerns or worries. Look at the other person. It is you. You're looking at yourself right now. Are you going to resonate with my reality, or are you going to start pointing fingers, blaming officials for our problems, and believing that whoever goes into power positions are going to dictate your future, your peace? That's ridiculous. Nobody can do that. And if you protest that or think that they hold that kind of power, then you're handing it over. It doesn't matter who's in power. I know people that have sat in concentration camps and prisoners of war who have found total peace and were able to survive because of what they did in here. What are you going to choose? This is a critical time. We're going into it right now. And there are going to be things that happen out there because people will not stop behaving like dense human beings by choice. But your choice can be different. And when you come into conflict with another, I guarantee you at the end of your life, you probably won't remember what that was even about. Because none of it really counts. What counted is how you treated that person in the situation, not what the subject matter was about. How we handled each other. Because we can sit and resolve any kind of issues on this planet in peace. It's time. And you have a choice right now. You don't have much longer. You don't want to wait till chaos breaks out and you're a part of it. People are going into the new earth right now. Higher dimensions and awakening. They're experiencing that. I am. I don't even know half of the things that are going on out there. I don't need to. It's not part of my reality. I'm focused strictly on creating something extremely positive and focused on helping other people and making a positive difference. Are you doing that? If there's any action, thought, belief that you have that contributes to separation and any kind of violence or disagreement, then you are still in the old earth and you will continue to live that life and wonder why you're not manifesting the things you desire. I have a Shift into the New Earth workshop that is out. It's actually, as of this video, 50% off. I'm going to put it down in the description, and if you're in my Manifest Anything list, my email list, you'll get that offer there too. There are practices because we have to be on it every moment, not just some of the time, 100% of the time. The New Earth doesn't function 50% of the time in a high frequency, and then we argue the other 50% of the time. It's a 100% dedication to love and peace. Are you ready to go there? This is a prediction that I thought was so profound, and I realized how we're still pointing fingers at things out there, those out there, those in power, those doing this, those who have organizations, and it's all creative crap that doesn't affect you because you are 100% in control of your life, your reality, and how you treat other people. Sometimes it's just saying hello to somebody who gets no respect from others. Are you ready? I think you are. You're here on my channel. You cannot pull back on this. The chatter in the head has to stop. because thinking is a lower dimension action. There's no thinking required. In fact, when you go to the higher realms, there is no speech. There's just communication without language. Why? You can do that now. You are doing it. You sense everything, your intuition, you know what's going on. You know what's right and wrong. No excuses, my friend. Go down and you can click on any of the things that I'm offering. Go into my free Manifest Anything email list where you'll get all kinds of offers for things. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. It's go time, my friend. Namaste.